Hello everyone, ItzzDivinity here, and today with a new episode of my Fire Mage Approach 2 series. This time around we're going to be talking about the Sanguine Depth run, my very last 20 that I needed to do in order to get all the 20s in time, and it was with the full perk group. So in this run I'm going to be basically talking about what I did, what I could have done better, and the reasons behind it. So let's just go straight into it. But before we go, we'll show you the route real quick. As you can see, it's just a standard route, especially if you have a rogue. You're going to be skipping some nasty packs that you really don't want to take. And you're just going to go the normal standard route. Besides that. But these are also, by the way, my talents and my stats that I'm using. I know I have a lot of haste, but that's because Flame Patch, right? Skills with haste. The more haste you have, the faster your Flame Patch flyer places with the Flame Patch talent. Pick 4. We were also cheesing it a little bit, right? As you can see, we're at the moment in a Mythic 0 where we're going to be pulling all the ads in the front row, right? In the very first room. Because you're able to activate the lantern, so you get the buff. And you get the buff, you start a key, you go out of the key, wait a couple of seconds, like wait 10 seconds, and then you go back in and you still have the buff available for you. Till this, the day of recording this though, they already fixed all of those, so you're not able to use it anymore. So that's something that you need to keep in mind of, right? This run, normally I am usually in a Discord with people as well, whenever I pick. But this one, it's not the case. The rogue actually also forgot to actually put in the keystone himself, so we're starting a little bit later than normal. As you can see, we have the buff at the moment, top right. All of us go out to, yeah, basically cheese it a little bit, right? So the moment we're out, we're just waiting a couple of seconds. As you can see, I still have the buff in the top right. Alright, timer is gone. So now we re-enter again. And for this part, we still have our buff from the Mythic 0 available to us. But right now, that's not possible anymore. As you can see, we have 20 seconds left with 9 stacks, which basically is 45% damage buff, which is going to help a lot. So I usually like to start this pack with mirror images into combustion. The reason why I'm using mirror images is because so I don't take aggro whenever I get hit, like whenever I burst hard. And yeah, it's also for the damage reduction because this pool usually has a lot of enemies that deals a lot of damage, right? So having an extra defensive before you pull is helpful. So I see already the very first pull. My combustion went fine, but the moment I went into the shifting power, I went an idiot because I got knocked up. I forgot to mention the affixes actually this week as well. So the affixes that I did this with was, yeah, basically the best week ever. It's fortified, it's bursting, and it's volcanic, right? So basically 2 affixes that are really easy to deal with and barely any issues. Even though you will probably see that I actually get quite hit a lot by volcanics, which is really bad for my part. As you can see, I should be using my blink way more. Like I got knocked up here again as well. What I should really be doing is if I see that I'm about to get knocked up, just blink somewhere else. I have 2 charges ready for myself, but I'm not using those. Also, for the people that might notice that I'm currently running Fever Incantation, that is because I've been, yeah, I recorded this before the 9.0.5 changes went live, right? So at that point, Fever Incantation was still the best, and that's why we're also running it in this run. Right now, I am holding my combustion because usually this pack is almost dead whenever combustion comes off cooldown. And for the next pack, it's also really helpful to just blast the brute down really fast, right? So I like to do the single target combustion in this pack, making sure to interrupt the tick, right? And because of the single target ignite, we actually deal quite some damage as well to the tick next to it because of the ignite, right? I maybe should have waited with using my Phoenix Flames there at the end. Oh, never mind, I used it here already. But as you guys see, I actually get hit a lot of times by Volcanic already. I think I already got 4 times. 4 times in total, and we're not even past the very first corridor. So that's actually something that I mentioned during the stream as well. Like, I am actually getting hit so many times by Volcanics. That's something that I really need to get better at, right? That's something I really need to get better at. Alright. So we're using Shroud in order to skip this. You don't need a Shroud for this, but we were doing it because, as you can see, the petrol was shitty timing. So it would save us time if we were gonna stealth kip. And the reason why I also combust the last pack, right now we have combustion again. So as you can see, I'm casting mirror images beforehand, so that I'm not going to get aggro. If I would get aggro, a mirror image will take it otherwise. And I actually committed maybe a little bit too early because my shifting power wasn't off cooldown yet. So we're just using it outside of it and making sure that we did have our rune available to us so we can have the increased damage on it, right? And also what you maybe notice, I always use my trinkets before I actually press combustion. That is because you're not able to use a trinket, right, during a cast. So you actually have to wait. And like wait until the cast is over. But what I like to do is use my trinkets before I use my combustion, because the trinket itself lasts 15 seconds, right? It actually lasts 15 seconds. Well, combustion lasts 12 seconds. So I placed the rune here. But as you guys notice, I walked out of it and barely went back into it. So I got quite some DPS loss in there. I think my main reason why I did that at the beginning was because I had my Dragon Breath available, right? So it could interrupt. But then I noticed someone else already interrupted it. And then the leaf was on the circle as well, and everything was shit. So as you guys can see, our combustion is up right now. The reason why I'm not using it at the moment is because prideful is going to spawn. What I've noticed a lot by pugging, since I basically pug all the keys that I do, is combustion is a really good tool to help out the healer with pridefuls. It really is. It really is. Since if you don't use combustion, one, you barely do any damage to prides. And two, you probably are able to use a combustion inside of it because of how long prideful also takes, right? So you're going to be able to still have a combustion after a pride is over with the pride buff. So as you see what I did, right? I waited last second for the leaf to come in. The moment the leaf went on me, I blinked away and then blinked back in to still, with my combustion, have that little bit more damage because of Rune of Power. The general rule that we always have, like what I've noticed for pucks, the general rule, if you get the debuff, you stand still. So whenever you get the debuff, you just stand still. I should have also at one point used Alter Time in here to just help out the healer a little bit, but I didn't. I should have done that. But maybe I was like, I want to have it for this boss ready. So as you can see, Prideful is like 48 seconds left and we have Combustion in like 10. So by using Combustion on the Pride, we only had like 20 seconds downtime because of it. And that's actually fine. It's actually not an issue. So we're going to be combusting here. Which is going to be a full single target. We're also using Potion. And our interrupt was already on cooldown, but otherwise we always try to interrupt the cast as fast as possible. The more casts, the worse. So as you can see, I'm blinking very far right now with Alter Time. So it went off and we instantly use Alter Time back. Because basically, what you can do with this boss, right? If it's on the other side of this room and you go to the other, all the way to the other place, you will not spawn an orb. You won't get hit. You can actually outrange it. I think it's 100 yards or something. It's quite a far run. So that's where I like to use my Alter Time for, in order to basically just use my movement. And now I remember, actually, I was on Discord with these guys. So as you can see, we're going out far again. Going out far, far, far. You do lose DPS, I know. But the most scary part about this boss is just mainly, it's not the DPS check. It's not the DPS check, you know? It's more of a healer check. How good is your group with dealing with these mechanics? So that's why we just went all the way to the other side. And we waited with combusting until we were actually available to actually utilize our fully combustion. So we're getting Juggernaut Rush. I mentioned Joe gonna solo soak. And we use Ice Block to just totally negate that as well. The one before we got lucky. The Rogue got it, so he can also use his thing to dodge it. And as you can see, by doing it this way, it might take a little bit longer, but there's like barely any chance that you're gonna fail doing this boss the way that we did it. It's not the fastest way, but it is probably one of the safer ways to do it, especially if the range makes sure that they outrange everything. And yeah, like we see, we're pulling double, so we're just hard casting our Flame Strikes, right? Since that's going to be the biggest upgrade for us. So I got knocked up again by an explosive. Not an explosive, by a volcanic. I don't know why. I really, really need to just blink whenever I be like, oh shit, I'm getting hit. And yeah, that's something really, really bad for me. I really need to get better at doing that. Also, a really helpful add-on that I highly suggest you guys for if you want to do keys to get is the cursive or something similar like it. Basically what it does, as you can see, I have like 5 little square bars above my target frame, right? It's a little bit higher than my soul shape ability. And whenever someone gets a curse, you only have to right click on that square in order to decurse it. And it's actually so good and so helpful that I really recommend you guys to get something similar like that. It's by far the easiest way to know whenever something is a curse and you can decurse it. And it made me use decurse so much more often, like so much more often, right? So you never want to get hit by these fracture knockups, right? Because if you do get hit, yeah, it's a bye-bye. Yeah, that's not a great time. You don't want to get that at all. So as you can see, we'll just make sure we dodge everything. And the moment something falls below 30%, we're using Scorch. So in like 30 seconds, we have Combustion ready. So I hope that I'm still going to be using... If no one is using their cooldowns, I hope we're still going to be using cooldowns here. And we're starting it actually off with casting Fireballs. I don't know why I should have, like I'm doing right now, should have instantly started casting Flame Strikes, right? Since there are 3 targets, and with 3 targets or more, Flame Strikes with Flame Patch talent is just stronger, is way better. So the chains are coming out, so what we do, we go out, and now we combust. I see that I didn't precast anything. That's fine, but I should have just used Scorch or something to just get that one more proc before we even started to get that one in there, right? You never really want to start combustion without any precasts. Unless you're like so close to the kill of a boss and if instantly combust, it almost falls over, right? Like something like that, you know? So we're getting the chains again, and as you can see, we made sure to always be out of range of the chains. So we're going to be using Shroud here. Too bad we didn't have Roar. So our original plan was, right, to skip this entire part. Skip this entire part together with this mini boss. But since the Druid didn't have Roar, I don't know why, he didn't have Roar, so we are actually ending up killing this guy. So for the people that don't know really, if you use to skip this guy, what you need to be very wary of is just the frontal, is the sweeping slash. It's not really frontal. It targets a random player and it basically, how do we say it? It basically throws a tornado to you that does a lot of damage. So I'm combusting here, and the reason why I'm doing that is because it still had a lot of HP, and I was like, yeah, I want to use it here, because I was looking at it as well. The Druid almost has his cooldown ready as well, and no, I should have actually saved it. At this point, whenever you're getting into higher keys, you kind of want to make sure to have like a combustion, or just you want to make sure that at least someone has a cooldown ready for a Pride. So as you can see, the prideful itself almost has around 700k HP. And you kind of want to kill that thing ASAP, right? You really need to kill that thing ASAP. As you can see, 638 actually on a 20. So it's quite a lot of HP that you need to kill. And by combusting, it's basically like you're almost dealing like 50%-ish of its HP by combusting. And that way, you're actually going to be doing a lot more. You get a lot of value out of combustion, right? Because you still are going to be able, like I mentioned before, you're still going to be able to use a combustion during the Pride buff in total, right? So by using a combustion in a prideful to kill it, it's totally fine, right? It's totally fine. As you see, I used alter time. I mentioned it, right? Yo, I got alter time. So I'm alter timing. And whenever I'm almost dying from the next tick, I repress my alter time to make sure to get full HP again, right? So we're going to be dual pooling. And as you can see, we have combustion ready. So yeah, we're definitely just going to be instantly using it. Like usual, I press my mirror images before I press my combustion. Just for that same reason again. For the extra safety reasons. Not every single tank can hold their aggro as good, right? So I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I like to just press my combustion and press my mirror images, then my combustion, right? especially whenever we are going to be pulling a pack. So as you can see, we still have 20 seconds, 15 seconds left-ish for this pack with prideful. So that's nice. Again, I'm starting with hardcasting two fireballs. I don't know why. I think the reasoning why I'm doing it is because every single time the tank pulls, I'm not entirely sure where he's going to be standing, right? So maybe I'm casting a couple of fireballs. No, okay, I'm just an idiot now. Like, usually whenever there's 3 targets, you always just want to cast Flame Strike. If something falls below 30%, then you only start casting Scorch in order to get those streaks faster, right? But otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, you probably don't really want to do that. Otherwise, you just hardcast Flame Strike whenever there are 3 targets or more. Not Fireball. It's not that great. Flame Strike will do a lot more. So we only managed to get actually 1 buff out of this entire thing. Out of this lantern. So that's kind of sad. And I thought the Paladin was the Vantir person here, but it's actually the Rogue. And I don't know about you guys, but I haven't really seen a lot of Vantir Rogues myself. So I have no clue what they can do or what they do, if it's more or better or worse. I'm not sure. But basically, that's one of the very few times I actually see a Vantir Rogue. So yeah. So like you can see right now here, we are just using Rune into Scorches, since something is below 30%, and then we switch to Flame Striking, right, since 3 targets. Right now, we're just making sure to finish off the Scribe. Right now, we're just making sure to finish off the Scribe. What I can also do, because what you also can do, I mean, is just fully single target combustion this Sentinel, because every other minion has way less HP, right? It has way less HP. So by using single target combustion into the Sentinel, you will still do quite amount of AoE damage, right? Because your Ignite will be spreading during your combustion because of Phoenix Flames. That might have been better. That would have actually been better now that I'm thinking and looking back at it. Some of these minions already died beforehand. It's just very important, though, that the Sentinel is on top of the other ads, right? That is very important, because that's something you want to know to happen. So right here, we get knocked up again, but it's not the biggest issue because we're using combustion, right? Good thing we didn't get knocked up during our shifting power. That would have been way better. I also walked out of that shit on the ground. What I should have done was just actually blink. I am noticing that I don't use blink a lot, actually. I rather move than actually using blink to actually get us out of somewhere. So as you can see, I just decursed the ability from the Rogue. Without this add-on, I had no clue. Oh, right here I was talking to the stream about showing you what I was missing. So as you can see, Sanguine Depth is the only 20 that I missed for my, time 20. So these ghouls, by the way, they are broken. I don't know what Blizzard thought with these ghouls, but they barely give any percentage, right? Like, they give 0.55% per kill. But for some reason, whenever the tank gets slapped by one of these ghouls, holy schmoly, dude. Like, as you can see, he's perma-kiting these, yeah? He's perma-kiting these. Just because on how much they hurt for you. I think I'm talking to the stream again about my keys and everything, about what we want to get and what we want to do. In the end, I managed to actually time every single 21 except Sanguine Depths and a Theater. Besides that, we managed to get everything in the 21 in time by pugging only, so that's pretty cool. That's really cool, I think. Okay, so Pride is spawning. Even though the boss is very soon here, right? After this one, we're going to be pulling the boss. I'm still using my combustion. Since, like I said, right, we're going to have a combustion anyway during the Pride buff. So it actually is pretty valuable to use your combustion on a Pride in order to make sure to kill it. And this will probably actually be way more important when it's Grievous Week, right? Grievous Week with Prideful is actually a really big pain. So using a combustion in Grievous Weeks on Prides is totally fine. As you can see, 50 seconds is left on the Pride buff, and we have 30 seconds left on our combustion. So we're definitely going to be able to have a combustion again, and we might actually have it for the second ad, and that might actually really help a lot. So we're instantly switching over to the ad, right? This ad is very high prio. It needs to die ASAP, since it deals so much AoE damage to the entire raid. So whenever you get hit from these things, you also need to... you get a curse, so which we can actually dispel, right? So as you can see, right here, we're going to be combusting. I see that I forget to press my trinket beforehand, which is pretty bad. But as you see, I am still able to fully utilize my entire combustion during prideful, right? So we're using shifting power, and we're blasting our fire blast charges into the manifestation to still make sure to make it die quickly, right? So we're walking backwards, and then I hope I'm going to be placing a rune. Or I was... no. I was waiting to see where these lasers were coming from, right? And then afterwards, I was going to be placing my rune down to make sure that I was not going to get hit by it, right? While standing in my rune. Even though you can stand quite a bit out of your rune, actually. It's 10 yards, so you can actually... Or 8. 8 or 10. I'm not entirely sure anymore. But you can actually stand quite far out of your rune to help with the damage. So I think on this one, we are actually going to go and fully single target the Sentinel with Combust. So the Druid died here, which is actually pretty bad. So we interrupted. Let's see what we're going to do. Going to use Trinket. Going to use Combustion. And let's see if we walk back in. We are. Alright, so we're actually, this time around, we're going to be fully using Combustion into the Sentinel. Yeah, we also just got raided, actually. So yeah, that also happened during this run. It was a really chaotic run. I had a lot of fun in this run myself, actually. I myself am not a really big fan of Sanguine Depth myself. I don't really like all of these tight corridors and everything. But as you can see, actually, by using Combustion on the Sentinel is actually dead before the Scribe and the Ghoul. I don't know if this really is a bad thing or not. Maybe, because the Ghoul, you kind of want to kill the Ghoul as fast as possible. Like, if you don't kill the Ghouls, your tank needs to kite a lot more. So maybe it was better to use an AoE Combustion on that one. Maybe not. I think you really need to look at your group yourself, whether it's actually really good at using Combustion on the Sentinel, single target, or on AoE, right? So that's something you should really look at yourself as well. Yeah, so these are the guys that also just raided me, so that's... Yeah, it was really chaotic. This run was really chaotic. So I could have definitely performed way better. Right, as you can see right now, we're actually using fireballs into the Scribes. Well, we have 2 ads, or 3 ads, actually below 30%, which I should have used my Scourges on instead. And then basically switch tap target between the target to make sure that my Pyroblast was going on the Scribe, right? That's something I should have actually done. So I was holding my Combustion here because everything was about to die, right? So I don't want to waste my Combustion when things are like below 30% because we're going to be able to use Scorch so we can execute. It's whatever. So for this pack, you have a lot of ghouls. It's really disgusting. Using my precast Fireball right into Combustion and full AoE, I managed to actually Flame Strike the roof, which is really great. It's really great. We're actually able to Flame Strike the roof. And for some reason, as you guys can see, I get hit all the time by these volcanics. It's so bad. I'm actually so trash. Like, I should not get hit this many times by volcanic, especially not as a mage. I have fucking Scorch. I have Blink. I can just get out of there so fast. And if all of these are on cooldown, I can even just use my Soul Shape. So I don't know why I keep getting hit so often by these ads, but it is what it is, I guess. And this is something I really need to get better at for the next time volcanic comes around. Because I did this run. Yeah, see, I got knocked up again. But this time around, I didn't have any blinks or whatsoever. But I should have just used Scorch then. Just going to take a quick sip. There we go. So we're hard casting Flame Strike. And Combustion is going to be up in like 10 seconds. The very, very important interrupt to interrupt on this trash packs from the Warden is the chains. Let's see what it is called. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be combusting here as well. Yeah, alright. Bard Shackles, you want to always interrupt that spell. That spell hits like a truck. If it goes through and it comes on you, definitely use an ice block for it. Like, it's fine. If you get that ability on you, it's a really nasty ticking dot. So by using ice block, you will just remove it and it's totally fine. It's not a big issue. So right now we're going to go back because we killed the mini boss, right? So our percentages are a little bit off on expecting what we wanted to have it right. And at this point we noticed that the paladin was not Ventir, right? And we're like, oh, okay, can we actually see if someone is in a Witch Covenant? I have no clue where to look. I don't think you can even look at it where you expect people. So I guess that is what it is. So that's kind of sad. So at this point, we kind of went looking and thinking, and we're like, oh, the rogue is Ventir. So that was interesting. So right here, we're just gonna single target, right? Because only 2 adds. So what we're gonna be doing is using Scorch and then using the Pyroblast into the guy that's full HP, like higher HP, right? Because we're gonna get more value by using Pyroblast on that one than the other one, right? Because then we're gonna be able to get this lower, and whenever it's lower, we can use Scorch more. When Scorch is actually really good whenever you can get those guaranteed crits. So we go to these oppressors now, and this is where we're gonna be combusting, I think. Yeah, I actually am. I'm not entirely sure. So this was a really awkward timing, right? So combustion was ready, but we know that the prideful was also going to be spawning afterwards. So I kind of fucked up. I don't know if I should have saved it, yay or nay, for the prideful. Because this pack also takes quite a while, and it has a lot of interrupts, so it's actually a really annoying pack to kill as well. As you can see, we actually got silenced though. We say we cannot dispel ourselves. As you can see, I tried to remove my curse so many times, but I wasn't able to. So I'm pretty sure we're just using our potion here, like rune and potion, in order to kill it. Let's see if we are going to be using a potion though. Are we going to be using a potion? Yeah, exactly. See? So I was actually going to use my intellect potion to just make sure that this pride is going to be dead in time, you know? You don't want it to be up for too long. The moment it hits 20 stacks, it's really a race against the clock. So yeah. The reason why I'm also not using altar time here is because I really want to use my altar time for the boss. I'm pretty sure. That's the reason why I'm not using it. Unless I'm not going to use it 1 minute into the boss fight, then I'm just inting straight up. Because... Huh! Interesting altar time. Very interesting altar time, actually. That's really stupid. But alright. So as you can see, we're just going to go and use the single target combustion into the boss. So this boss... It's actually quite nasty. It's actually a quite nasty boss, so you always want to make sure to soak at least 3 of these orbs to make sure you don't die. So normally what I like to do is use alter time before this hit comes in, and then use alter time again to get full HP immediately, right? Also, this is a boss fight where I always use my ice block, since it's quite heavy for the healer. So I usually wait until the third set in order to use my ice block. Or the second set, knowing we can kill it before the third set. But as you can see, we're not going to be killing it before the third set is going to happen, because we don't have any cooldowns anymore. No one has anymore. We only have Heart of Wealth. So as you can see, we're going to be soaking 3 at least. And we're going to go take 4. And as you can see, we also had the shield and we had 4 orbs, so we barely took any damage. And we ran straight into a volcanic, taking damage again. Well, we did so good by dealing with the damage from the orbs, actually. So we used combustion just before this came out. I guess it's fine, because we just want to use it as fast as possible, since this fight is really awkward timing-wise to use combustions, right? So just make sure that you're not too far out of your rune, but it's fine to go out of your rune so you don't get hit by the ads, right? So I should be ice blocking this one. I'm not ice blocking. I don't know why. I highly suggest to at least use your ice block once during this fight. It will really help out your healer a lot. But I think I mentioned it via the Discord as well. So as you can see, we actually hit 85 HP. We hit 85 HP. Imagine if we didn't use an armor kit. We would have procced right there and we would have not had Cauterize. So, yeah. At that point, I should have just ice blocked as well. I had ice block still available to me. I should have just used ice block, and Yeah, no, that was just a really big mistake on my part. It was way too risky for me. So as you can see, even before the ads are here, we're hard casting Flame Strike because we can already place down a Flame Patch for these ads to walk into. The one thing that I did forget to use was my mirror images to negate a little bit of damage if was necessary, right? And yeah, we're just gonna go full out on the combustion, single on AoE. So we're using Rune. We're gonna look for people that are below 30%. We're starting to use Scorch for those. We see that some casts are gonna get finished. We didn't have any interrupts ready, so we use our Dragon Breath in order to interrupt. Dragon Breath is a really good tool to just interrupt packs. I would highly suggest you to try and use this ability quite often in Mythic Plus for whenever there's like a pack and you know there's going to be quite some interrupts that you need to interrupt. Use Dragon Breath there, especially when you see like 3 people casting at the same time. Don't be afraid. Just use Dragon Breath, since it will cancel out all of these 3 casts. But it doesn't work for all the ads, right? For a lot of ads, it will work, but not for all. So this pull is really spicy. So he pulled both packs. Well, we don't have any coolies. Well, I don't have any cooldowns ready. So I had to use Shifting Power in order to actually get my combustion ready. And normally I want to single target Kael with my combustion. But because this guy pulled everything together, I was like, I need to make sure that all of these ads die ASAP, right? Because I know if we're not going to kill these ads fast enough, we're going to die. We're going to just fully wipe, right? So we kind of had to go for a full AoE. But normally what I like to do myself is full single target Kael, since this is also pre-nerfed Kael, right? So whenever you guys are watching this video, Kael actually got nerfed and has 10% less HP in this intermission part. So you'll be able to face it even faster. But it takes so long to do this part already. And if you do really risky pulls where you need to AoE a shit ton instead of cleaving from Kael, you're wasting a lot of time, basically. This is also why Frost, I think, like, in my opinion, Frost is pretty good for this part, yeah? Since you're really going to be able to funnel a lot of damage into Kael. So Gloomskull was coming in, I was really low, so I was just like, I'm going to Ice Block. Since we have it available to us. But yeah, what I mentioned about Frost, right? You have a lot of times that multiple ads are going to keep walking in here. So you're really able to funnel a lot of damage into Kael, getting all of these things. And we actually died. I don't think I had anything anymore. So it was just because this pull, as you can see, it was such a chaotic pull that in the end, it's probably not even worth it anymore, the pull that we did there. It actually took longer to kill, I'm pretty sure, than if we would have just pulled it separately. Because we would have just been able to face Kael way faster. Not so risky as it is right here. So right now, I'm not instantly using my combustion. Because I saw the... how do you say it? There's a lantern that people from Ventir can use, right? And I thought we were going to use that one, so I was waiting a bit with combustion, but I didn't. And as you can see, I also went full AoE on this Kael pull as well. I really like myself to actually just use single target combustion on Kael, since the ads that get pulled with Kael don't have a lot of HP, and by using Feeling Flames, they will do a lot of damage as well to ads. And by spreading your Ignite will also do a lot of damage. And then you also have Shifting Power afterwards, which will do a lot of AoE damage as well, right? So by using single target, in the end, you're going to be able to actually just face Kael faster away. And I keep getting hit by these Volcanics. I don't know why. I'm so bad at dealing with Volcanic. You legit barely have to move. Like, it's just one sidestep and you're out. But no, me, I'm just trash. I'm just trash. I cannot walk out of it. So this one is the one where we're actually going to be using the... how do you say it? The lantern, right? So we need to make sure to interrupt the acolytes in the back. We're not going to be using combustion here, because these guys don't have a lot of HP. And if we want combustion, all of them will die so fast that you basically waste combustion. Quite a lot. So we switch over to Scorch the moment something falls below 30%. And as you see, I also used Dragon Breath already earlier, because all of these acolytes are casters, and you want to make sure that they cast as little as possible, right? So by using Dragon Breath, you basically reset their cast time by like 2 seconds. And it's actually pretty worth it. So as you can see, we have 9 stacks of the buff at the moment. So I really hope I'm not going to AoE combust this one. I hope I'm just gonna full single target blast here. Can I use my... Yeah, alright, we're using my trinkets. Let's see what we're gonna be doing. We're going full AoE. Why? Why am I doing this? Like, as you can see, all of these ads are already dead. It was so much more valuable for me to actually just full single target Kael. Since we have an Outlaw Rogue, we have a Vengeance Demon, and we have a Balance Druid, they already do so much AoE damage. And even if we're single target combusting, we would have done so much AoE damage as well. Because like what I mentioned before, because of Phoenix Flames, because of Ignite. And then afterwards, we have also Shifting Power to deal with it. I don't know. So this is actually something that I need to get better at. This part, 100%. I need to make sure to just do it properly. By properly, I mean using my combustion as a single target on this part. Whenever I'm running it with like a comp like this. If you have a team comp that is not a lot of cleave, right? If you have a team that doesn't have a lot of cleave, then I would suggest you to use combustion AoE. But with the comp that I'm running, right, a Vengeance Demon, a Windwalker Rogue, an Outlaw Rogue, and a Balance Druid, AoE damage isn't the issue. So we should have just been pushing the Kael with single target combust. Also, something that you really need to make sure to do in here is never use Shifting Power all the way to the left. As you can see, I actually blinked into this corridor to use Shifting Power. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but there's like a bat flying around in this room as well, here and there. And if you use Shifting Power all the way to the left, you will actually pull it with Shifting Power. It won't give any percentage or anything, but it's just gonna... it's just an additional ad that you don't need at all. So you're just completely wasting time by pulling it. So always be all the way to the right side of this place, right? And not the left. So we're gonna get the very last pack. We have 5 minutes left and a prideful to time it. So at this point it was like, okay, as long as we don't fuck up, as long as we don't screw up, this should be done, right? We should be able to kill it. And as you guys notice, I actually don't have my combustion ready. Because I had to use my... I already used my combustion on the last pack. And this pack actually dies very quickly. But even though our combustion isn't ready yet for Pride, we're still going to be using this combustion for the prideful. Because as you see, I do have combustion right now. But... never mind. Never mind, actually. I didn't think I would have actually got it back in time. No, never mind. Never mind. This is the power of Kindling. I guess if you get a lot of crits, you'll be able to do very fast combustions. It's always such a bait that you think, it's not going to be ready, and then you keep getting crits, you keep getting other crits, and then in the end, you actually get it back in time, and you're just like, oh, nice, I actually can combust this one. So combustion's over, into Shifting Power, but Rune was on cooldown, so we were not able to use it. So I think, yeah, alright, yeah, we are using Rune. I think I would have actually been better if I would have saved it for the boss. Since this prideful was going to die in time, and we're losing time of Rune now. So it would have actually been better if I waited with using my Rune for this boss, so I can use it at the start with the increased power from prideful as well, right? So that's something I should have done. Alright, as you can see right now, we have 20 seconds left for combustion, and 4 minutes for the boss to blast down 70% of its HP. So what I always like to do on this boss itself, look which one is the very first, and whenever that one is went, go there. Because that means you'll never have to wolf at all anymore either. So now we're going to be combusting, since we have it ready. Another lot is going to happen. Well, Gloom's Call is actually going to happen. So I kind of got lucky. So I kind of got lucky with that one, really. So Wicked Rush, what you can do with this, if you're the second one that she's dashing towards, you can actually blink away from it, right? Like you can actually walk away from it and you don't get a stack. But it went for us for the very first one. And as you see what I did there again as well, always look which one is the very first. Like the very first dash, right? So we know it's the middle one. So we basically want to make sure, all right, we go middle, and there we go. At this point, I should have used Ice Blocked as well. Because we had 2 stacks, and 2 stacks is usually risky. But this paladin already bubbled me. I should have just Ice Blocked, get rid of it. So I don't know why I'm using mirror images. I think it's just to make sure I won't die from damage, I guess. So it's the middle one. So whenever the middle one went, we just go to the middle part. And now you won't be able to get hit at all anymore. So we have combustion ready, using all of our coolies. And yeah, just start blasting down the boss. 2 minutes left. Yeah, 2.5 minutes left, right? as long as no one dies, as long as the healer and tank stays alive, it should be a win. So there you go. After combustion's over, I forgot to actually use my rune here, so we lost a little bit of damage. But I don't think we would have gotten another rune during this fight though, so that's kind of risky. So I hope, yeah, alright. I don't know why I'm using my rune over here, because we need to spread out afterwards anyway, right? So we're going to the far side, and as you can see, the middle one, and we're actually the second one on this one. As you can see, I blink away and we don't get a stack now. You guys saw that? So we get Wicked Rush. The people that don't know, right? We get Wicked Rush, Heat Dash to the other target, which is on here. And I'm the second one, right? But as you can see, I don't have the marker anymore on me. So it's basically registered on the place where you were standing. So if you're fast and you can blink away, you see, he's dashing now to my location. She's dashing to my location, I mean. And she will basically do her spin to win over there. And we don't get any stacks. You see, we didn't get a single stack because of it. So if you're doing this and you're focusing on, okay, am I going to be the first one or am I going to be the second one? If you're the second one, always try to not get that stack, right? If possible, unless it's not possible and then you're just fucked. But yeah, there we go. This was my very last 20 that I needed to do in time. And I was very happy. I was really happy since I managed to do all the 20s now with perks only, right? And higher. So that is something I was really happy about, that I managed to do that without a push group or anything. I just perked every single dungeon to get to this point. So that was actually really cool. Really happy that I managed to do that. And yeah, there were quite some things actually that I still could have been way better in this run. So the amount of times that I got by explosive is ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. I got hit by explosive way too often. I noticed myself that I don't use my blink or anything else to dodge it. I'm just inting straight up. Like I'm just full on inting, right? Also, the gauntlet part, right, where we fight Kael, I actually need to use my combustion single target wise on her, especially with a team like this that has a lot of cleave, like I mentioned before. If you have like a team that doesn't have a lot of cleave, think about like a Shadow Priest, if that's your event tier DPS, then AoE is better, because Shadow Priest won't really do a lot of AoE damage, right? Then the AoE combustion on Kael will be better. So it really depends on your team comp as well, which one will be better, right? But for my run, I should have definitely used single target instead of AoE, since we have a lot of cleave already from just the way how our team worked. But yeah, anyway guys, I hope this one was interesting. I hope you guys learned something about this run as well. I myself definitely did. I need to really improve on certain things, for sure. I do like that I was able to discurse a lot of things, because of the add-on, the cursive that I use, right? But yeah, I myself also learned quite a lot of things. So thank you guys so much for watching. And if you're interested, I live stream every single, no, not every single night, by the way, but I live stream as well, which you can find on twitch.tv/ItzzDivinity. It's on the screen right now as well. And yeah, if you liked it, then please leave a like and subscribe. Would really appreciate it as well. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye bye.